Oh, okay. I wonder why I don't see
So
it.
not me, you. It's you, Lou.
Right, right. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Recording has started. That's good. Hmm. I wonder what the problem is.
All right.
How long, Bogdan, should we wait? Like, should we give it 5 minutes after the hour or something?
Yeah, let's just see how this goes.
Yeah,
But yeah, usually, we never started exactly on the hour, so let's
right, right.
kind of announce. It's not time yet, but let's announce for those who are already joining that we'll start at least 5 minutes late.
Yeah.
Everybody's so silent.
Well, you got to laugh out of me. Good morning, everybody.
Hi, good
Good
morning,
morning.
everybody.
Hi, good
Hello,
morning.
everyone.
Hello.
Hey, good afternoon.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
See what you started, Dennis?
Yeah, Dennis is always speaking up.
Yeah,
It's good to speak. It's a hell of a summit if nobody talks.
That's
absolutely.
true.
Absolutely. That's what I mean. We count on you to get things going here. So we are going to wait until about 5 after to let a little bit of late people come in before we get started.
I don't know, Lou, if anybody else struggled, but my call bounced a couple times before I could connect. It started connecting and then it killed the app a couple times. So I don't know if
Mm,
there's any issues other people are having.
mm.
No, it
Uh,
worked perfectly for me.
and are you guys all seeing what Bogdan's displaying? Because for some reason I'm not, which is
Yes, yeah,
fine.
Yeah,
definitely.
Good,
yeah,
good.
about us on the screen.
I don't know. It's hanging mine up. Let's check things out
I'm trying to close my eyes here and picture that I'm in Vegas and I've just been up all night previous night and I'm struggling to open my eyes for this session, just to get in the spirit.
there. Yeah, that's good.
Oh, hopefully my hangover will not be too bad tomorrow.
So just to announce to everybody, we are recording this and also transcribing it. So those are turned on.
Okay, so please leave the hangover part out.
Yeah. The recording might be worse than a ransomware attack.
Peter, it's good to hear your voice again.
Yeah, a long time no see. It's much too long. It was always fun.
Yeah, we just got one more year of this crap, I think, and then we'll all be back, toasting it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Look forward to that.
Hello.
Uh,
Hi. Can you guys resend the link?
Bogdan, do you have a link there somehow to send to whoever this is? Share invite. Here we go. Hey, good morning, everybody. Glad to have you all here. I'm feeling my sound seems a little dull. Bogdan, can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, Lou, I can
Yes,
hear you
Lou.
now.
Yes.
We can
Okay.
hear you, Lou. We can see you.
Yeah,
Okay,
sounds great.
All right. So Bogdan, are you there?
Yeah, so somehow I got muted and I've been talking to thin air.
Oh, okay. Cool. So we are going to mute it. We will mute it, right? And you just if you need to be speaking, then you need to unmute on your end. So there you go. Over to you, Bogdan.
Okay, well, welcome everyone. Thank you for attending, and I'm totally jazzed to be able to pull off this summit. We always like to have it in Las Vegas in February. With COVID, we've just been truly limited in terms of our options, so we decided to do a virtual summit spanning 3 days, 2 sessions a day, taking no more than 2 hours of your day. And we're very happy to have Microsoft agree to come and update us on Edge add-on publishing. And following Microsoft, we'll have Digital River talk about payments and what it takes to go global as an app maker. Just as a reminder about what Clean Apps is about, just before we get going and I introduce Microsoft. Clean Apps is a nonprofit trade organization. It is dedicated to servicing and helping app makers and SaaS companies. We want to just basically champion and protect accountable apps and promotes proper SaaS marketing. So we're here to help, and this is part of what the summit is about. The summit is about educating the industry on any changes, things that are coming up that that you want to be aware of that could affect your roadmaps and your plans for your app business or your SaaS business. So specific to what we're going to talk about today, the educational component will be on Edge add-ons, or which is a phenomenal way to start or to augment your app offerings in some way. And so we'll have Naga and his team present, or Nashish. We'll also take questions. One of the key things that I really want to make sure that we do here is we'll take questions in chat. We'll also pause wherever Microsoft wants to pause to take questions verbally. And we'll ask for you to at least try to use the chat first, and we'll try to highlight the chat so that we can kind of repeat the question for the audience and have it fielded that way. So without further ado, I will stop presenting and hand the presentation off here to the Microsoft team.
Hi everyone, can you hear me well?
Yes,
I can.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, and I hope the
Sound-
presentation is visible.
It is. You sound good. And it looks
All right.
good.
Hey, I'm Ashish Podar and I'm a program manager with Microsoft Edge. I'm on the extensions team and I am going to talk about Edge extensions. We've done a couple of webinars before, but I'm not going to repeat what I've discussed in the past. I'll just do a quick recap of Edge extensions for those who are here for the first time. And then there's a lot of material available on the web in our documentation as well, for the links for which we will share in case you want to do and go deep dive into some of the past material that we've shared over these webinars and otherwise. What we're going to talk about today specifically is publishing extensions as an enterprise. So over the last 4.5, 5 months, we have opened an email channel for developers to reach out to us and let us know in case there are any issues that they're facing. And from that experience, we have learned a lot about the demands of the enterprise users. And hence there has been a special focus on that within our team. And we're working on, unblocking and at least, informing developers how to access the partner center if you are an enterprise. That's the highlight for today. I'm going to talk briefly about the product roadmap and how you can reach out to us in case you have any questions, any issues to discuss. I'll start with a recap, and if I'll just pause here after I've done the slide for any questions to start with. So basically, like I've mentioned in my previous events, there's no registration fee to submit your extension on the Microsoft Edge add-on store. And excuse me. The second important thing to note here is Chromium extensions are compatible with Edge. Given that Edge, the new Edge is based on the Chromium engine, your extensions are very easy to port. We support most of the APIs. Documentation, there are a couple of differences there though, and documentation for that is available. And thirdly, we have extensive email support to address your queries. And we're going to share, we've hosted a contact us page in case you're looking for specific, there are 4 or 5 kinds of complaints that we've been, or like rather requests or queries that we've been getting. So we've hosted a contact us page, the link for which we'll share again at the end of this presentation, so that you can reach out to the right forum quickly without having to hop on from to various places. Thing to things that have happened since the last time. We have now 5,000 plus extensions on the Edge add-on store, and 70% of all extension installs come from Microsoft Edge add-ons website. As you know, Microsoft Edge supports extensions from the other web stores as well, especially the Chrome Web Store. So this is what we've seen is Edge users continue to prefer the Microsoft Edge add-on store, and most of the installs continue to come from them. and what you've seen is a very good traction among the developer community, and a lot of extensions have been added to the store. Almost, I think this number is 25% higher than the previous number, if I remember correctly, what we shared a couple of months back when we met. So before I go next, I think one of the questions, this is another area where we get a lot of queries and questions about the extension review process. So I thought I'll put together this slide and share it with everybody. So basically, you know, I'll let it load. Yeah. So every extension goes through a pre-approval process, and extensions with high risk permissions go through a code review as well. So so we're very committed to quality, and we want to ensure that, you know, extensions on Edge Addon's website are trusted, reputable, and safe for our users. And we have a well-defined process to investigate incidents as well. And then there are a variety of enterprise policies that are available for administrators to manage extensions in your organization. I'm not going to talk in detail about this, but if is anybody who's interested in, and if in the enterprise policy segment, please feel free to ask those questions. I can talk through them. We're also planning to host detailed documentation on managing extensions shortly. This is work in progress. In the next couple of weeks, we'll have some information available for administrators, some detailed documentation available for administrators to manage their extensions.
Can you explain what incidents means? Well-defined process to investigate incidents?
So if we get any reports of any extension being malicious or any extension doing unwanted things, for example, we have a very strict policy for extensions. The extension has to specify in the description what that extension does. It has to disclose what other components or other things that they're using. They shouldn't be, for example, I mean, there are a variety of examples out there if you try and look into it. So what we have is we have a process for developers to report copyright violations, for example, and then there is a well-defined process to investigate those copyright violations and, you know, follow through and take appropriate action.
Interesting. And then can you provide an example of a high-risk permission?
Oh yeah, for sure. So for example, there are, so in the current manifest version of manifest v2, there is this request which is web request. So, you know, extensions that have access to that permission can view your network requests and, you know, make changes to those. So that's, for example, a high risk permission.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. And there are other extensions. So basically the way I'll just probably talk about it for 30 more seconds. The way extensions work is for them to be able to perform certain activities on the browser when they're installed, they need permission. For example, they would need permission to view the history for example, that they need permission to the active tab. So also for each additional feature that they build on, they will need to declare those permissions in the manifest. So the recommendation is that while you are developing extensions, you should choose the minimum number of permissions that you need to work with, because that keeps users safe from unwanted, you know, any unwanted sharing that happens of their data.
This is again, this might be an off question. Do the permissions requested do they need to be disclosed, not just in the manifest, they also need to be disclosed in a privacy policy?
No, because they're already, the permissions are already listed on the Edge extensions management page once the extension is installed, and they're highlighted at the time when the extension is installed. So
Okay.
you don't need to, the privacy policy doesn't necessarily need to be speaking about permissions per se. They should be talking about the data that the extension captures or, you know, takes from the browser, or like basically about the PII data, if I have to, personally identifiable data that the extensions taking and storing and transmitting. So that is the key, focus of the privacy policy.
Okay. And is there a big difference in approval speed, high risk versus no high risk permissions?
Yes, since I'm saying that we have a code review process. So for example, we are discouraging the use of, eval in the extensions. So if we see that extensions are using some of these high risk permissions or some of these high risk functions, we try and go through the code reviews, like we do code reviews, and that would definitely delay or take more. See, we have an SLA of 7 business days. So most of the extensions get approved within those 7 business days, but the time to investigate will be faster per extension if there are lesser high risk permissions. Yes, it obviously does affect our overall process of review and in turn affects the overall throughput of the pipeline. That doesn't mean it should take more than 7 days, but then yeah, overall, yes, it's faster if you have lesser high risk permissions.
All right, so yeah, it kind of makes sense to just put in the permissions you really need in your manifest, right?
Completely.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going into a detailed demo, but I'm going to talk through some of the key scenarios because I just want to be mindful of everybody's time here and they may not be representing an enterprise. So I've taken a shortened version of this presentation where I am just going to highlight a few screenshots and talk through them so that we can go faster and take questions if needed. So basically, the partner center is the location where you need to be registered and enrolled into the Microsoft Edge add-ons program to be able to submit extensions to the Microsoft Edge add-ons website. The way to access partner center for like individual users or small businesses is usually to have an MSA account, which is a Microsoft account, Outlook, Hotmail live account to log into the partner center. Your existing accounts will work. If you don't have one, you should create one. What enterprises have to do in addition to that is, so that continues to remain the first step for enterprises as well. They'll need to create an MSA account and they'll have to register for the Microsoft Edge add-ons program. The link to register is available in the publish your extension documentations. And after they have logged in, they'll see this form that you see on the right side. It's a very short form that enterprises are required to fill in. We need, as an organization, Microsoft needs some basic information about your account. For example, which country do you belong to be able to follow all the guidelines, for example GDPR guidelines and other guidelines, and hence we request you to the information that are requested, some of the mandatory fields you have to fill in to proceed to the next step. Now for the enterprises, once they've registered, there are 2 additional steps that they need to go through so that they can allow users within their enterprise. Basically, I'm talking about enterprises using AD accounts. So these are the next 2 steps that they have to do so that they can allow users within their enterprises to submit extensions.
Is this new?
This has always existed on the partner center, but this is something that we are in the process of adding for Microsoft Edge add-ons as well.
Okay.
So
Okay.
this is
So you're just showing partner
process.
center. You're not. Okay, I understand.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't get the last part.
No, I didn't. I wasn't sure what I was looking at. So you're just showing the partner center independent of the add-on the extension process.
Correct. This is the common framework for Partner Center, which is available for all programs, such as the Windows programs and other programs which use Partner Center, where partners use the Partner Center to submit their products. So this is the common framework there. So for anybody who wants to use let their employees use AD accounts, they have to first go through this process of associating Azure AD account with the partner center. So this page is basically going to be available shortly in a few days, and we're still working on this and testing this. This page is going to be available in the partner settings, like in the link that I've given on the left side. Go to Partner Center, then to Settings, to Organizational Profile, and you can add tenants basically. So once you click this button, you'll be asked to log into your Azure AD account and follow a few steps, after which you will have your Azure AD account linked with the Partner Center.
So if you're using Office 365, does that automatically put you here, or is this different? Do I have to set up a separate Azure AD to make it work?
So if you already have any Azure AD account, that should work.
Yeah, I'm specifically thinking about, the Office products. If our organization is set up, around Office 365. I mean,
Correct. We are
So
talking about any organization that's using an Office 365 suite and is using Azure AD accounts for their users to log in. That is the use case that we're talking about here. Does that answer, Dennis?
So you have to be using you to log in as well. It isn't just using you to get access to the Office apps.
So I think we'll have to discuss your specific case. For example, even anybody can go using their Microsoft login into Azure and create an AD account. So that's creating an AD tenant is very easy, and adding users very easy in Azure. So I mean, I'm not sure how else you could be using Office 365. But I think if you could write a detail of like what do you mean when you say Office 365 accounts? I don't want to generalize it without understanding your use case properly.
Ashish, I'm going to provide you a scenario just to kind of be specific and kind of challenges I had around this. So to answer Dennis's question, I log into my Partner Center account using our Office 365. The company I work for is SolveIQ, right? So I have a SolveIQ login I use for all my Office apps. It's our company email. It's what I use to go in and manage our Partner Center account. So I don't know if that answers your question, Dennis, but I certainly can log in with my Office 365 into Partner Center.
Okay, and Bogdan, when you're at work, you don't turn on your PC and log into that same ID, or do you?
No, we haven't implemented AD on the desktop, but we are using AD in terms of Office 365, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that was my question. Did you have to set up your environment to be a managed environment to make this work?
No, absolutely not.
Cool.
But I do have a question for you, Ashish, that maybe for future, for future answer or another session. So the challenge I had was the way that the Partner Center company name and so on was being displayed wasn't really the way I wanted it to be displayed in the add-on store. So I've been challenged with updating how the Partner Center registration looks so that it matches correctly when I publish into the add-on store. So that's the area that was where I kind of stumbled on. I still have a ticket open for the last little while, just trying to get that fixed. Did we lose Ashish?
Again, Ashish just dropped. We'll be back in a minute. Just give us a
So I think we got the questions answered in the chat, right? That came up.
Yes. So basically, there is one question which was around AD login. I think we answered the question.
Yeah, I think we've done it to death.
Yep.
So while we wait for Ashish to come back, I'm just curious. Maybe you can, those of you just curious, how many people that are on this call have already published an add-on? Can we get there you go. Show of hands if you know how to use the hand thing. Well, I think I should do mine too, because I count. So I got 7 so far. 8. 9.
So where does it show you how many hands are raised? That's interesting.
I can see it. I get a little display showing total because I guess I'm the organizer maybe.
No, I see it too. You just have to be in
I see it.
show
Right.
participants. Show participants.
Yeah, show participants shows you their hands up.
Oh,
Oh, cool.
and it says 11 is a number of participants. That must be those raising their hands.
That's the number. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because we have
9,
more
10.
participants
Oh,
than that.
wow.
No, there's only
We,
yeah,
we,
cool.
we have more than 11 people. That's 11 hands.
yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
we've got about
Yeah.
60.
We're all debugging how Teams is working.
Yeah, Ashish is back.
Hi, sorry about that. My connection dropped and I've switched to my phone. So in case you hear any lag or a delay, do let me know.
Okay, you sound fine.
Sure.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right, yeah, please go ahead with your questions. I see 4 people have their hands up.
No, I asked a question about how many people, how many on the call here had already published an extension. So we got as high as 11.
Oh, that's amazing. That's great to know. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'm sure there's
So I think,
more. Just they didn't.
yeah.
I guess you need to unhand yourself, unraise your hand once you're done.
Correct. Yeah. Teams needs some more AI ML there. Hopefully in another few months, probably.
Cool.
All
You
right.
have
So
all option. Do you have an
sorry,
unhand all?
just clicking the same button would actually make it go
Go away.
down. Yeah. Yeah.
I think we killed this topic, Ashish.
All right, great. So the next step here is after you've linked the Azure AD account is to, add users or, allow existing users to access the product. So this is a slightly longer version, but we've had enterprises in the past and even now coming up and asking how they can control access to their products, and hence this extensive flow usually works for companies that have sensitive products that are published, and they don't want everybody to come in and update those. So once you add these users, they'll be able to access the partner center. We've had one more use case that I want to cover here, and this has come up a few times. A lot of people here who are using Edge already, you know, and they're using Edge for work. Given Microsoft's enterprise customers, there are a lot of people who are reaching out to us, and what happens is because they're already logged into their work profile into the browser, and then they try and log in from the link that we've published, and they hit this error which says sign in with another account. Basically, what's happening in this case here is they're trying to log in from their work account into the partner center, specifically the Edge add-ons program. Now, the problem here is that the organization itself is not registered the with the Microsoft Edge program. So what needs to be done here is you can go to your settings and you can find out what is the owner account associated with this work account. So there will be likely an MSA account. Sometimes it's a different Azure account as well, which is not a Microsoft account, but usually there's an Outlook Live Hotmail account that's associated with Partner Center. And from that, the user needs to log in with that, and then just follow the registration process. And after that, they the steps that we discussed in the past few steps, and you should be able to register very quickly into this. If you're already registered into the Windows program, then the steps are even lesser, and this works much more seamlessly. But this is something that we want to fix over a period of time. But at the moment, this is the flow that one has to follow, and some of these items are in our backlog to be addressed.
Yeah, that was challenging when I first got in there.
Yeah, I know that's challenging, and I think that's the benefit that we've had over the last 5 months of having that email, engagement channel opened. We're getting to hear what are the real pain points or the challenges that our developers are facing, and we are trying to address them, one at a time. So we're continuing to work on that feedback. So I see a question over there which says, how does all this pertain to B2C app makers? Um, I didn't completely understand the question. So Alvin, can you expand or can you elaborate that question?
Yeah. We write, most of the folks here, we write applications for consumers. We don't really write applications for office, or, I mean, we get some SMB stuff, but we're not really dealing with the enterprise. A lot of the people who are out here, our apps are downloaded all over the internet by regular users, maybe small business users. We may have some corporate, but might be some department that downloaded it, but I don't see how can I use this in the apps that I have, or
Yeah, what's
people
the
like us
benefit of what's the
Yeah, go
benefit
ahead.
of doing the partner center route?
Okay, so basically, if you are so now my question, just to clarify, is I understand your customers are like consumers and not enterprises. But what account are you using to log into the partner center?
An Outlook Live account.
Yeah,
All
so
right, that's
Alvin,
great.
it seems the big benefit here is that there's multiple people in your company can now manage your Edge extensions instead of
Right.
just.
So
I got it. All right. So that's basically the main benefit to us, right?
correct. I think that's great, Dennis. Thank you for helping me out there and chipping in. Exactly, that's the point. So this whole process is for enterprise
Oh, Ashish, you're cutting out.
employees who can manage.
I think we got it, Ashish. You're starting to cut out a little bit.
All right, is this better now?
Yeah, that's actually better. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so basically, the big benefit, just to summarize, is I can have a lot of people use their own account to go manage my extensions. Whereas with the live account, I got to figure out how to share it if I want
Yeah,
to
you
have more than one
cannot. You
person.
cannot really share the
Yeah.
live account. It's you'll have to share the passwords, like some things that most users won't prefer usually. So those are the ways to go about it.
Okay.
Okay, I'm on to the next section, which is just highlighting some of the roadmap items that we have. So like I mentioned, we are making this whole process easier for enterprise users to enroll into the program and also to kind of share and manage the users on the account. So that's something that we're working on. Primarily the ability that we're looking is in the upcoming quarters is if somebody is already enrolled into the Windows program and they are allowed to submit extensions for the Windows program, we want them to be able to quickly access Edge add-ons, a Microsoft Edge program as well, and be able to submit extensions there. So that's something that we're working on. Then extension statistics on the developer dashboard. That's a story that is under development and hopefully should be rolled out sometime this quarter. We're also working on making APIs available so that you can publish and update extensions through your CI/CD pipeline. This has been a major ask from developers. I would really like to know if anybody here prefers using APIs to publish their extensions to either of the existing stores, say Chrome or Firefox. Is anybody here using APIs already? Or would want, I mean, that would give me a good signal of how many people here at least are looking for that feature.
Can you explain a little bit more what that means? I'm not sure I understand what you're saying.
Okay, so basically what will happen is, like right now, developers have to go into the partner center to make an update. For example, if they have to do a package update or if they have to do other updates to their listings, they have to necessarily go into the partner center, log into the partner center, use the UI UX to make those edits and then hit the publish button, right?
Yeah,
So
to me, that would be, I'm getting a lot of response in the chat here. I can tell you our dev team would love that, not to have to go through me to go and do all that work manually.
Right, right. So what can be done basically is to have once we have the APIs, you can actually hook up those APIs, either via GitHub or through your Visual Studio, and you can directly submit your updates from the code itself by calling those APIs. Like you can push a package update, and if the response is successful, you're basically done. So that's what we're working on. That's a multi-quarter work. So we are doing explorations. We are figuring out the best possible ways. So it's going to take some time, and we will also need your feedback on once we have the API architecture ready to ensure that that works for you. So as and when I have more information, I'll share with you. We do not have a precise timeline for this, but it's going to take time, given that it's almost like a parallel body of work required to be able to do that. So that's something.
Do we want to show of hands? We had 11 people say that it published extensions. How many want to see this API thing happen?
I see.
Based on the chat, I already count 5.
100%.
Okay.
So right. Azure DevOps and your static web pages already has a really nice option. If you use GitHub, you can plug that directly into a CI/CD pipeline. Imagine you could do that with your extensions as well. Is that if we built this thing in either Azure DevOps or into GitHub?
That we Azure DevOps or either one for sure. We use Azure DevOps. We love it.
Right, something to help us auto deploy, so we don't have to write our own scripts to make that happen.
Right. All right, good to know. I think there's a substantial interest in that. So that's something that we've already started work on. Again, as I mentioned, we will share more updates with you as and when we make progress.
Fantastic.
That's mostly all that I have here, and there are 3 key documentations that I want to share with everybody. One is the Microsoft Edge documentation website, where you can find all the possible questions answered. We are working continuously on that to improve that. It's continues to be work in progress, given that extensions is a vast area. What we also have here is the Partner Center link. Apart from that, what we also have is a contact us page, and that will help you reach out to us whenever you need. Yeah, that's all that I have, and I'll post those links after I finish my presentation into the chat. Any other questions that you have?
Yeah, I have a question, Ashish. You mentioned earlier that you get reports coming in for extensions that people have questions about copyright or questions about violations. Do you have a dedicated email for that where people can submit to, or an API or something? What's the best way to submit to you things when we find issues?
Right. So there's a link on the contact us page. So I'll just share the contact us page here quickly for everybody to. Oops, I think I'll have to stop sharing. Otherwise, you look at how goofy I am at times. Second. Okay, so yeah, this is the link. You can find out that particular item is also listed on this page. So this should help you.
I don't think you're sharing, Ashish.
Oh, it's in the chat.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
You put it on the chat.
Got it.
Okay.
So there's one more thing that I'd like to add here.
Hold on. It's really, so you got a link for copyright infringement, but what about violations?
No, I've got contact Microsoft Edge extension support.
Yes, I think you should just contact support, or you can contact our email alias for that. We don't have another special alias for that, because there are only these 3 teams that are managing the workload. So there's like the copyright, the email support team, and the support and a generic support team which can answer all your questions. For example, if you have a question related to certification or anything, you can send it out to the support link, which is the first #1 link on the chat.
I want to make sure I got this right. You said earlier on that you have a dedicated process or a well-formed process in place for handling, these violations and stuff. So that's the XDev support team is going to be the other end of that process. If I send an email to them,
Yes.
it'll somehow end up in the right place. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Does your process include contacting us back? Once we report something?
Yes, if we need more information, yes. Otherwise, yeah, it depends upon the case. Like if there's any clarification we need, we might contact you back, is how it works. Yeah. And that's true for all the cases, even for copyright violation. The team may contact you back if they need more information or details on your violation reporting.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Yeah, there's one more thing that's listed out on this page that I want to call out. So what we're doing is we are, we've added a lot of collections on the Edge add-ons homepage, like the website homepage, and you can be a part of those collections. You can get your extensions featured by submitting a request using this link that I'm sharing at the end. You can also suggest a new collection if you suggest like this is a specific niche area for which extensions are being built, and like your extension caters to a new feature or it provides a new user value that's not already listed as a collection. You can also choose to submit a recommendation for that. So that's the last link that I've shared.
That's great. That's fantastic, Ashish. Thank you. Any other questions before I ask mine?
Yes, I have one. In the situation of adding a new extension, how responsive are you guys? I mean, is it something that you just shoot in there and hope for the best, or you guys have some type of typical response time? 5 business days, 2 days. Typically, how long does it take?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, my question is, what is your response time when somebody adds a new extension?
Oh, you missed the beginning, Alvin.
Really? Yeah. Am I breaking up?
No, I'm saying you missed the beginning. We chatted about that.
Oh, you did. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, Ashish, you wanna summarize?
Yeah. So our standard certification turnaround time is 7 business days, Alvin.
Got it. Thank you.
And that applies to challenges as well, right? It doesn't, like, regardless of whether it's new or existing.
Right. See, that's a standard SLA because they all are managed through the same pipeline. But if it's taking more than that, you can always use the support link that I've shared in the contact us page, the first link out there, to check in on the status, and we'll help you out there.
Oh, that's useful. That's good to know. Okay.
So another question related to that as well about the resubmission of updates for existing extensions. Have you thought about doing anything to streamline that process, especially for cases where most of the code base has not changed, but it might just be something like a bug
what
fix
do you mean,
release,
like,
which could
what's
be very
the challenge or?
Sorry, I couldn't hear that.
Yeah, your voice is breaking for me. Maybe it's my network. Just give me a second. All right, I'm back on my original network. Hopefully that's better. Can you re-ask your question, Patrick?
Yeah, I hear you now. So the question was for extensions that have already been submitted and approved, if any steps are being taken to streamline the speed with which updates to those extensions can be approved, especially in cases where it's going to be, a minor update, like a bug fix, which still could be very critical to get out quickly to fix any issues.
That's a great question, Patrick. We are debating internally on how to best optimize the process, but it's very hard to obviously we have some of these ideas where there's a small listing change that can possibly go ahead faster with lesser reviews, or there is an important security fix that needs to go through faster. How do we facilitate those? There are some challenges with all of these, we don't want to be preferential to one over the other, because while the developer doing a smaller fix wants a faster SLA, the developer doing a security fix wants, it's an important update for which they are expecting a faster response time. So it seems when we start debating, sometimes it feels that all of them are equally right in their places, and the problem becomes harder and harder to solve. But yes, we are debating on some and deliberating on some of these options, and we'll let you know if things, if we finally zoom in on something that can fast track reviews. But at the moment, we don't have any update on any specific thing on that. But definitely, we are deliberating on it, and it's something important for us as well. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, that's definitely a major concern.
Thanks for sharing. Yeah.
Anybody else have challenges that they have questions about? And so I'm going to throw mine in. It's going to seem minor to some, but it really gave me pause on the first. It was our first submission into the Microsoft add-on area, and we really wanted to make sure we had everything right. And what gave us pause was the privacy policy aspect. So we have a privacy policy. We wanted to make sure that as we checked the checkbox that we have a privacy policy, that everything was correct. And we did. And one of the claims, one of the things that we say is we don't collect any personally identifiable data. But then a technical debate came out where we said, well, it depends on how you define collecting that personal data, because we are tracking installs and uninstalls. When we throw in a code that makes an API call to let us know that the install occurred, and another one if the customer or the user uninstalls. So we said, well, okay, now the IP address is captured there, so can we make that claim? And so we were just a little worried about having that aligned correctly. Was this too much debate for? Or were we right to think this through? Can you provide the Microsoft perspective on this?
Right. I think that's a great question, Bogdan. So if you are transmitting or collecting any personally identifiable information, you should have a privacy policy. That's the best practice, right? So, Bogdan, exactly what you said, I think that's what needs to be documented. Like, what is the data that you're collecting? What is it that you're storing, how long that you're storing. And I think what users really want, what we've realized, is the transparency of what's happening with that extension. And I think that's all that's needed. And like you said, was this debate too much or too less? I think the point here is, if you are collecting any of that information, it's better to share your best practices or your practices, not the best practice. Whatever practice you are following, you should share that. And that's all about the privacy policy. And it sounds simple, but it could be overwhelming at times. But IP address is considered as an important aspect, though it's not directly identifiable. But in it, I think it within, like, I won't go into the GDPR kind of side of things, but it is considered a part of PII. So this should be documented, and it's just about whatever practices you're following, you just have to document those. Yeah.
Yes, it's just about disclosing, right? More than anything else. Okay.
Yes, it's the information that a user should be able to look up when they want to check out what information am I sharing with a third party. I think that's what users want to know.
Right. And you do look at this in the approval process, right? I mean, that we were right in assuming that.
Correct.
Okay. Fair enough. Well,
I hope it goes beyond just sharing to a third party. I mean, a company could be collecting information, they shouldn't be using it for themselves. I mean, that's what malware does.
good point.
I mean, I hope you guys are thinking about your privacy bigger than just if someone shares it to somebody else.
That's correct. So I think that, see, the overall review process has a lot of other details which we don't talk about, which we don't disclose. But in the end, I think the whole review process is not just about one thing. It's a sum of parts, like we said initially. For example, even it goes to the level of code reviews. So, I mean, yeah, it's basically a lot of factors are looked at when we're doing the reviews, and privacy is one of those.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah. All right, so I think if there's no other questions, I guess we should we close it out?
Oh, hold on. So
I see there is a question on the chat.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So the question is, what is the Edge team's latest thinking for Manifest v3 support?
Right.
All right, so that's Brian. Brian, so we've already, published our stand on a blog as well on the docs.microsoft.com website. We are supporting Manifest v3. That's what's happening there. Is there any other specific question there? We've asked for.
Do we need the link? Do you need the link, Brian? Is that, or are you looking for more?
If you're speaking, you're probably on mute.
His mic's not working. But he's typing in chat. You could just read it there.
Hey, no, there's nothing new, Brian, apart from that. All right, it's funny. So basically, what we've asked for developers is to submit their concerns or queries, if at all, around our point of view, and if there are any challenges, and we are looking to address those specifically. But apart from that, there's nothing new on that front, Brian.
Trolling for more details. All right. Anybody else? All right. Well, look, we're coming up on time, so Ashish and team, I really appreciate you guys joining us again and sharing all these updates. As usual, I find them super informative. Hopefully, everyone else has found this session as informative as the past ones. Do you guys want to have any final words? Any
Hey,
anything you want to share before you go?
Thank you, everybody from the CleanApps team for organizing this. I really appreciate it. It's really well organized. Thank you so much for the time, and thank you for organizing it.
No, thank you. Thank you for participating.
Yeah,
all right, now for everyone for everyone else that's still on, we have one more session coming up in starting about 4 or 5 minutes. And that will be with Digital River. So once again, thank you, Microsoft, Ashish and team. I'm going to go ahead and just show a quick slide to kind of as a placeholder for that. Let's see, is that it right here?
Yeah, we should start. We will plan on actually starting the next one like at 9:05 my time. I'm saying in about 8 minutes. So you can take a little break.
Yeah, so time for a bio break or whatever it is that people need to do. But we've got some really great data about payments. If you want to go global, the actual official slide presentation is called acting local, right? If you want to truly get your apps to, for those of you monetizing apps sort of directly, if you're presenting a payment option to your customer, there's a lot of art, a lot of science that goes behind doing that correctly in other countries. and that is what we're going to dive into. We'll share stats and some best practices around that. So I think everyone would be pretty interested to find some interesting data points throughout. I'm going to put myself on mute and take a quick break too.
Okay, see you everybody in 5.
Phil, you could just tell us some jokes.
What kind of jokes are allowed?
Oh, please not. This reminds me of a meeting in Iceland. That's been very bad jokes.
Not those kinds of jokes.
Well, I'm a New Yorker, so all my jokes are dirty, so I'm gonna bounce out.
You must have at least one dad joke.
Yeah, but the language is gonna be salty regardless. All right, fine. I got a clean one.
Tell us, Alvin.
What are you talking about now, Alvin? I stepped away.
Oh
But I
man,
you've been talking.
you guys want to play this game? All right, fine. No, man, you guys don't want to go there with me.
Yeah, you got that right.
Fine.
Okay,
A horse goes to a bar, right? And the bartender says, "Hey, what's with the long face?"
You know, Alvin, that's a really old one.
I had to think of something clean. You know what I mean?
I know. It was a horse, by the way, you guys. Horse. Pretty funny.
Actually, no joke, but I was gonna say that was pretty cool with Microsoft. You know, it would be kind of cool to meet the Google extension guys one of these days.
Yeah, that's true. We'll go. I've got Tila working on that, right, Tila?
That working on it, yeah.
Yeah, working on it.
Those guys aren't very talkative these days.
Yeah, I know they've been hiding out.
Hey Tila, have you been inside an aircraft just yet?
I did just once. I flew up to Boston, but it wasn't for work. I mean, it kind of was, but not really. And then I went
And
to
I'm-
Newport, Rhode Island for the weekend.
Oh,
Really
wow.
cool. First time I'd ever been there. I can't wait to go back in the summer.
It's right across. It's a stone throw away from where I am. I'm in Connecticut, so I'm right next door to that.
We'll have to connect when I come back this summer.
Let me know.
Absolutely.
Hey guys,